Hello, this is Yvonne Duranier, Chair of the Ecosystem Work Group of the Pacific Fishery Management Council. This presentation is being recorded on September 3rd. It will brief you on the Ecosystem Work Group's report to the Council on the Fishery Ecosystem Plan update. The Council plans to consider this issue on Wednesday, September 16th, under Agenda Item F.2. This presentation refers to a few documents that are available on the Council's website. When I speak about a document, the presentation will provide a link to that document at the bottom of the slide, like this link to the main Council website. The Council first adopted its Fishery Ecosystem Plan in 2013 and is in the process of reviewing and updating the plan. In March 2020, the Council adopted revised versions of Chapters 1 and 2. Most importantly, Chapter 1 includes the Council's vision for the California current ecosystem and its goals and objectives for its work in the ecosystem. Getting to an agreement on the vision and goals and objectives was helpful to our work on the rest of the Fishery Ecosystem Plan, since it helps direct how we draft revisions to the plan. You can find the revised version of Chapters 1 and 2 on the Council's website at the address shown on the screen. For this September 2020 meeting, the Ecosystem Work Group is presenting a draft of Chapter 3 for Council and public review. We begin our September 2020 report with a few questions for particular groups so that readers can go directly to those sections where their comments would be most useful at this meeting. We anticipate that the Council will review Draft Chapter 3 at this meeting, provide comments on the draft, plus some guidance for drafting Chapters 4 and 5. This means that we expect that this September draft of Chapter 3 will be available for your review and comment over the winter. It's a long chapter, so we hope that those folks who want to read it will have some time to dig in. But we're also looking forward to hearing any ideas you may want to share at this meeting. Chapter 3 describes the California current ecosystem from a variety of different disciplines and perspectives. It serves two major purposes. First, it gives readers an overview of the species, habitat, and fisheries managed by the Council. If you imagine yourself as someone new to our Council process, probably with a lot of expertise in a few fisheries, or knowledgeable about some portion of our enormous West Coast, Chapter 3 can help you understand those fisheries, fish stocks, and oceanographic conditions in the rest of the ecosystem. Chapter 3's second major purpose is to support the various analysis documents needed for the Council's work by providing background information and pointing to research that supports the Council's efforts to evaluate the potential effects of its decisions on the environment. I'll quickly walk you through Draft Revised Chapter 3, which begins on the second page of our report. We begin with a general overview on the links between the physical and biological environment and the fisheries, people, and communities that together make up the ecosystem. Section 3.1 describes the major biogeographic regions within the ecosystem, mainly an update from the 2013 Fishery Ecosystem Plan. This section connects up well to the annual Ecosystem Status Report, where our scientists also use these major sub-areas within the ecosystem to help us understand some of the differences between the sub-areas. Section 3.2 begins on page 5 of our report, and it covers the physical environment, oceanographic, and geological features. This section combines a couple of sections from the 2013 Fishery Ecosystem Plan, provides updates that link to ideas and indicators to the annual Ecosystem Status Report, and provides a new section on habitat classification on page 10. We're particularly asking the Habitat Committee to review that section at this meeting, if possible. Section 3.3 begins on page 11 of our report, although you may just want to skip to page 17 and subsection 3.3.3 on mid to high trophic level fishes and invertebrates. The earlier subsections on plant life, corals, and sponges, and the lowest trophic level species are placeholders for now and need to be updated for the next draft version of Chapter 3. Pages 17 through 24 have been updated, and we include a new subsection 3.3.5 on trophic interactions within the ecosystem, ideas that we will probably explore in more detail in Chapter 4. Section 3.4 begins on page 25 and covers the fisheries of the ecosystem, beginning with historic West Coast fisheries. At page 28 and subsection 3.4.2, you'll see descriptions of current fisheries. We started with commercial fisheries and we're trying a new approach for this version of the Fishery Ecosystem Plan. So we'd appreciate hearing your suggestions and comments on our approach. This section separates commercial fisheries into the portions of the ocean where they occur, benthic or bottom fisheries, and pelagic or water column fisheries. We're interested in hearing whether you think this type of division is appropriate for recreational fisheries or if we should switch to a more traditional port group fisheries descriptions. The commercial fisheries section includes both tribal and non-tribal commercial fisheries, but we should probably also have a section discussing non-commercial fishing among the tribes and would appreciate thoughts from the tribes on that. Moving into section 3.4.6 on fishing communities, which is on pages 43 and 44, you'll just see an outline for that subsection there, and we hope to get some time with economists and other social scientists at our September meeting for more up-to-date guidance on filling out that section. Section 3.5, which is pages 44 through 65 of our report, covers fisheries management processes in the California current ecosystem and beyond. Within 3.5, we most want your ideas and attention on section 3.5.2, which begins on page 46. This section discusses ecosystem-based management measures in the fishery management plans. If you're a member of a management team, technical team, or advisory subpanel, we would really appreciate it if you would take a look at that section, which is only updated through 2012 and needs attention from fishery-specific experts. References, which are in section 3.6, begin on page 65, and that's it for chapter 3. Also in the briefing book for this agenda item F2, you'll find a draft outline of chapters 4 and 5 from a March 2020 Ecosystem Workgroup report. We'll be reviewing that outline at our upcoming September 8 through 10 meeting and may submit a supplemental report with our updated ideas on how those chapters might be organized. Depending on the Council's schedule, we anticipate continuing with Chapter 3 over the winter and beginning to redraft Chapters 4 and 5 with next public drafts available for the Council's March 2021 meeting. It would also be useful to bring at least a draft outline of Chapter 6 to that meeting. Chapter 6 is about bringing ecosystem science into the Council process, and March Council meetings have a strong focus on ecosystem science with the presentation of the California Current Ecosystem Status Report. The Ecosystem Workgroup is meeting via a webinar on September 8, 9, and 10. On the afternoons of Tuesday, September 8th and Wednesday, September 9th, we are hosting information sessions on the ecosystem agenda items F.1, the Climate and Communities Initiative, and F.2, the Fishery Ecosystem Plan Update. Jonathan Starr, who is coordinating the scenario planning portion of the Climate and Communities Initiative, will be joining us to provide a briefing on the scenario planning process. If our meeting is attended by any visitors from other advisory bodies or the public, we'll be available for briefings and questions on those agenda items. You can reach our meeting through the main council website or by following the link shown at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for listening. This concludes the advanced briefing for agenda item F2.